Hello everyone, I'm Video Game Hazard, back for some more Pokemon Fire Red. In the last episode, we went down the cycling road, showing off the second way to get to Fuchsia City. And in this episode, we're going to explore the city itself. So let's start off by going into this house. Here we find the move deleter. He can delete any move that your Pokemon knows. That includes HMs. So if you ended up putting an HM on a Pokemon and you don't want them to have that anymore, you can come to this guy and have him get rid of it for you. Then in this house, this is actually Bill's family's house. You've met Bill? He's my grandson. He always liked collecting things, even as a child. Other than that, not a lot to talk about there. But if we head over here, we have the Safari Zone Warden's home. So let's head in and talk to him for a moment. Yes! Now, what happens if I say no to you? So, if you couldn't tell, the Safari Zone Warden has lost his false teeth. So we need to see if we can find those. But first, let's head into this house here. And what's this? Another fisherman. I'm the fishing guru's older brother. I simply love fishing. I can't bear to go without. Tell me, do you like to fish? I guess. In this game, at least. Grand, I like your style. I think we can be friends. Take this and fish, young friend. We have found the good rod that I have alluded to before. It's better than the old rod, but the super rod is better than the gold rod. Good rod, not gold rod. What am I saying? And if we head into his backyard here, there's actually a hidden item. Is it here? Wait, where is it? Oh, is it down here? Oh, there it is. A Max Revive. Very nice. But now that we have the good rod, I would actually like to show off the various fishing encounters that you can get. Or, at the very least, the ones that we can access right now. So, let's, first of all, I want to rearrange these so the rods are all together, and I can easily access them. There we go. So, if we use the good rod here, there are a few different encounters we can find. Except, they don't want to appear. Ah, there we go, Pokemon's on the hook. We have found a Goldeen! It's only level 5, really? I wish I had a regular Pokeball for this. Although I do have a Netball. But maybe I should save that for something better. Let's just try a Great Ball. Why not? What? You actually got out? Alright, I have underestimated you, clearly. Okay, now that you were asleep, maybe you'll get in the ball now. 1, 2, 3. There we go. We have found a Goldeen. But it is also worth noting that fishing encounters, which I don't think I've really gone over that much before, can be caught in a variety of places. In the case of Goldeen, these are all the places it can be caught. Every location except for Fuchsia City and the Safari Zone, it can only be caught with a good rod. In Fuchsia City and the Safari Zone, it can be found with a super rod. And you can also find Sea King here. One, 2, 3. Gotcha! Sea King, the evolution of Goldeen, can only be found with the use of a Super Rod in Fuchsia City and the Safari Zone. Another encounter we can find here in Fuchsia City is Poliwag. And with it asleep, let's throw a Great Ball. And we got it! Excellent. Poliwag can be found using a Good Rod in any of these locations, and a Super Rod in any of these locations, except for Fuchsia City and the Safari Zone. Poliwag's evolution, Poliwhirl, can be found in any of these locations using a Super Rod. And yet, there are still more encounters to be found in Fuchsia City, like Psyduck. Psy-yi-yi! If you've seen the anime, you probably know Psyduck. It is a pure water type, like many of the other Pokemon that we've caught, but it is also capable of using some Psychic-type moves, so it can be fairly useful. This is actually the rarest encounter here in Fuchsia City, at only a 5% encounter rate. As for where you can find Psyduck, there are many places across the region that it can be found, as shown on screen, and only with the use of a Super Rod, or by surfing in a select few of those. We'll get into surfing later. There's also one location where you can find it by just walking around, but we will also get into that later. However, Psyduck is exclusive to Pokemon Fire Red, and its version counterpart, Slowpoke, can be found in the same locations as Psyduck, but only in Pokemon Leaf Green. So if you want to pick one over the other, make sure you have the right version. And the final new encounter when you fish in Fuchsia City is Gyarados, the fabled evolution of Magikarp. Normally, you can obtain Gyarados by leveling a Magikarp up to level 20, but since it only gets Splash and Tackle before then, it is notoriously difficult. So, if you want to avoid that hassle, you can just try and fish up a Gyarados. It's not quite as rare as the Psyduck we just caught. This one has a 15% encounter rate, but you are still going to have a fairly hard time finding it. Let's try our netball on this thing. So, I will not be using Gyarados, but it is a very, very welcome Pokemon on any team. It has one of the highest attack stats of any Pokemon in this game, and it has a monstrous base stat total boost from Magikarp. So, if you want it, it will be very useful to you. If you would like to catch your own Gyarados, you can find it in any of these locations by using a Super Rod. And just for the sake of showing it here as well, if you want to take up the challenge of raising a Magikarp up to level 20 to evolve into a Gyarados, you can find it in any of these locations by using an Old Rod or a Good Rod. Magikarp is the only Old Rod encounter in this game. You could also find it by purchasing it from the guy in the Pokemon Center just before Mount Moon, but if you'd rather catch it, here's where you can find it. But those are not the only fishing encounters that we can find right now. So let's head off to somewhere else. Here in sunny Vermilion City, we have a few, actually I think only one other Pokemon that we can find here by fishing. Ah, there are actually two encounters here. I forgot about this one. Horsey can be found here in Vermilion City. And let's throw a Great Ball. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha! If you use a Super Rod in any of these locations, you can find a Horsey. You can also use a Good Rod in Pallet Town, Cinnabar Island, which we haven't gotten to yet, or Vermilion City. Another one of our encounters here is a Shelder. This one starts off as a pure water type, but once it evolves, it becomes a water-ice type. And I'm sure we'll see that evolution before too long. One, two, three. Got the Shelder. Shelder can be found in these locations using a Super Rod, but it is a Fire Red exclusive. Shelder's version counterpart, Staryu, can be found in the same locations, but only in Pokemon Leaf Green. And our last encounter in Vermilion City, which I forgot about before, is Krabby. And I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I forgot about this thing, because it's actually one of my more favorite water types, at least in this game. It doesn't truly come into its own until a little later in the series, because it is a physical attacker when most of its moves are special, but it's still a Pokemon I rather like. Not gonna use it on the team, but maybe one day. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, it's ours. Krabby can be found in all of these locations by using a Good Rod. These mostly overlap with the areas that Horsey can be found, and while they are not version exclusives, Krabby is more common with a Good Rod in Leaf Green, and Horsey is more common with a Good Rod in Fire Red. But then again, Horsey can also be found with a Super Rod, so the counterpart relationship doesn't match up exactly. But yeah, here's where you can find Krabby. And that is all of the encounters we are able to find for now by fishing. I may go find a Poliwhirl off-screen, but since I kind of went over it without catching it, I don't feel the need to right now. Let's see, does this little place have anything for us? I don't believe so. They called the Safari Warden Slowpoke. That's not very nice to the elderly. You know, he's still a working man at his old age. Give him some respect. But anyway, if we head up into northern Fuchsia City here, it's Passion Pink. We have a bit of a zoo here for some rare Pokemon like Slowpoke and Chansey. We'll get into you later. Voltorb is also here. And what else? We have a Lapras over here. There's also a Pokemart, which I'll visit in a moment. And we have a fossil Pokemon here, Kabuto. And Kangaskhan, another rare one. And actually, that's it. I thought there was one more. But if we head back over into the Pokemart, we can buy, I believe, some new items. Yes, we can buy Ultra Balls now. Those are twice as effective as a regular Pokeball, 2 times catch rate, as opposed to the 1 times of a Pokeball and the 1.5 times of a Great Ball. You can also buy Full Heals, which are effectively the same as a Lumberry. You can heal any status ailment. You can also buy Max Repels, which prevent running into wild Pokemon for 250 steps as long as the first Pokemon in your party is higher level than the Pokemon you find in any given location. But I would not recommend buying Max Repels, as they are actually less cost-effective for every step that they allow you to avoid Pokemon than a Super Repel. So I would just recommend stocking up on Super Repels instead. But we have one more thing to do here in Fuchsia City, and that is enter the Safari game in the Safari Zone. But that is something we'll be saving for next time. So in the next episode of Pokemon Fire Red, we're going to see what kinds of Pokemon we can find in the Safari Zone. See you guys then.